Hello, jó reggelt kívánok. My name is Liz. I teach English in Kecskemét, Hungary, and I'm going to show you what my Wednesdays are like here. Wednesdays tend to be my longest day, so I will put up a little question box so you can ask me questions throughout the day, and I probably will get to them sometime this afternoon. Okay, my name is Liz. As I said before, I went to school at Wisconsin Lutheran College in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is my second year teaching here in Kecskemét. I teach grades 1 through 8, and I see each of my classes one time a week. Like I said, Wednesdays are my busiest day, so I see 4 second grade classes today, 1 third grade class, a 7th grade class, and an 8th grade class. And I will probably not be showing my students at all, but I'll do my best to show you my school and anything that's just fun. Okay, my favorite part of these videos is always seeing the apartments. This is the view from my window. You can see the sun's coming up over there. I have a little balcony. I've got a desk and a ton of artwork for my students. Just all the necessities. I have a couch that pulls out for if I have friends coming to visit. I've got a small little kitchen. There's no oven, which is unfortunately not uncommon in the teachers' apartments. I know some other people who don't have ovens here either. Got a small shower, a washing machine, which is wonderful. And that's it. That's the entire apartment. This is my school. It is beautiful. I am finished teaching for the day. I've got my afternoon coffee already, and I'm gonna dive into some of these questions. This is a question that I get a lot, and you would think, based on how many times people ask me this question, I would have a good answer for it by now, but not so much. I got my TOEFL certification through an online course back in maybe January or February 2021, and I was then like super open to pretty much any country. I kind of just wanted to go somewhere I hadn't been before, and I was looking at countries in Asia and countries in Europe. I wanted to teach kids. I knew that much, and I wanted to go somewhere where housing was provided. And so I found the Central European Teaching Program, and that fit those 2 requirements. Just to finish off with that last question, basically I came across that Central European Teaching Program, and then I was still kind of perusing other programs, but then I saw someone come do one of these takeovers who was teaching in a different city in Hungary, and she answered some of my questions, and I thought, so maybe that will be a good fit. And so I finished the application process for CETP, and then here I am. Voila. Honestly, I'm not very good at budgeting. I've tried to get better at it recently. What I found works for me is to transfer some of my money into euros right after I get my paycheck. I get my paycheck at the beginning of every month. I'm paid monthly. And if I, convert it into euros, then I have that like saved, because the Hungarian forint is also a less consistent currency. Like it fluctuates a lot more than the euro does. So if you're able to put it aside and save it in a different currency, that really helps. And I don't know how much I'm able to save. I'd say that since I've only been serious about trying to set aside money more recently, I actually only have a few €100 from my salary set aside. I still have some savings back in the US that I can go to in case of an emergency. But so far I haven't been saving all that much. You need to be strict about your budgeting if you are going to save on the Hungarian teacher's salary. Honestly, this might be the best work-life balance I've ever had, because since high school, I've been working part-time jobs in addition to going to school, or working multiple part-time jobs simultaneously. And here I have lessons. I have 25 lessons a week, but then I also have time to plan for those lessons. And then I have more free time than I was accustomed to having during college or during high school even. So yes, I would say I definitely feel like I have a nice work-life balance. And Kecskemét is also maybe an hour, 15 minutes by train to Budapest. So it's really easy to go in for like a day trip or a weekend trip.
I was scrolling the CETP website to try to find the answer to this because I was not 100% sure and I didn't want to give the wrong information. I thought that you definitely did need a 4-year bachelor's degree for CETP, but I found in their FAQ that in some of the smaller communities, like in some of the more rural villages, they would possibly accept like an associate's degree or something, as long as you have the TEFL certification and some sort of classroom experience.
So there are basically 3 qualifications you need for CETP, and that is you need to be a native English speaker, you need to have a bachelor's degree, but as I mentioned on a previous question, there might be exceptions to that rule. And third, you need to have a TEFL certification. My plan was to go on a walk and like record some stuff and show you around Kecskemét a bit. But then my phone died pretty much immediately upon leaving my apartment. So my plan B was I went to the store and I bought some of my favorite foods. So you can experience them vicariously through me. And first up, we have the talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, Sajtos Pogača. Now I know you're probably watching this wherever you are, at home, somewhere, and, and you're thinking, Liz, Gesundheit, what did you just say? Like, what? Sajtos Pogača? Sajtos Pogača. It's basically a biscuit that just has a lot of cheese in it. Like, it's not like filled with cheese, but it's like, it's just cheesy. And it's delicious. But I did not get just the Sajtos Pogača. I also got, she's perfect. She's beautiful. She looks like Linda Evangelista. She's a model. Pizza Chiga. It is like a cinnamon roll, but it's pizza. It's brilliant. Whoever thought of this? Brilliant. I love them so much. Now last, but certainly not least, I got Turo Rudy. That's upside down. Turo Rudy. And this is my favorite kind because this is the big ones that have Nutella in the middle. These were first described to me as being like cottage cheese covered in chocolate, which I thought sounded absolutely disgusting. I don't really like cottage cheese. But it's more closer to like cheesecake. It's not like runny like cottage cheese. It does not taste like cottage cheese. I don't know where the cottage cheese comparison comes from. But it's more like cheesecake. And again, these are the best ones. The ones that are really big and filled with Nutella. These ones are definitely my favorite. This is a good question because there are a lot of people in Hungary that don't speak English. Especially like if you live outside Budapest, I don't know how anyone makes it without learning at least some Hungarian. Like, I know not everyone puts in the effort to learn it, but I don't know how you would get by without it. And it can be really frustrating to not understand things. And it puts you into this weird headspace where it's like you can hear these conversations happening all around you, but you just learn to just like zone out. And like it's all just like white noise around you, and then all of a sudden you hear something in English and you're like, oh my god, I understood that. It's one thing I've noticed about this though is that in my experience at least, when Hungarians hear you trying to speak their language, they tend to be very generous. They're very kind about it. They might not understand what you're trying to say if you're not very good at pronouncing some things like I am, but they like when people try to learn their language, and they are all under the impression that, oh, well, we speak a really difficult language and most people won't put in the effort to try to learn it. So when someone is trying to speak Hungarian, they appreciate that sort of reciprocation that you are putting in that effort too. I will also say that probably my favorite thing about teaching abroad has been the experience of trying to learn my students' language and having them like cheer me on for every single word that I know. Anything that I can say in Hungarian, they are so surprised and so impressed, and it also helps them realize that, oh, well, if Liz can make mistakes in Hungarian, then that means I can make mistakes in English. It's fine. And it makes them realize that like this is a two-way street, that we're both just trying to communicate, and it's difficult, but well worth it. There's actually a saying that I really like about that, which is that if you talk to someone in their second language, it goes to their head, but if you're talking to someone in their first language, it goes to their heart. And I feel like I can see that with my kids when I try to talk to them in Hungarian. It's like I see it go, like they don't have to process it in their head the way they do when I'm talking in English. It's like immediate, and they're like, oh my gosh, and it just makes us so much closer. It's so great. This is an interesting question because although I've met several other teachers that are part of CETP, we're all kind of spread out throughout the country, and there are 2 other teachers in my town. There's one at the high school that
is part of the same building that I'm in. It's like one half is primary, the other half is the high school. So there's a high school English teacher, and then there's also a CETP teacher at a different primary school in Keshkamate. And I will see that the high school teacher and I live right next to each other, and we'll talk. I don't see the other primary school teacher very often. But with that, we're all doing our own thing. We all have. But CETP also does have a really good support system where there's a Facebook group that people can ask questions, and there are experienced teachers who have been here for years and years who we can go to with any of our questions or any issues that we have. There's always people that are ready to help with anything that might go wrong. So you don't really feel like you're on your own. You have kind of a built-in support system with this program. And you can make friends with other teachers that are teaching the same grade level as you. Even if you're in totally different parts of the country, you can share ideas and lesson plans. So you're not 100% on your own in that aspect either. However, this question did also remind me that while a lot of teachers will have books that they're specifically supposed to teach from or they're expected to teach from, I don't do that in my position. My school has Hungarian English teachers who teach out of the book, and then I come in once a week to basically do a fun lesson that gets them talking and practicing and doing more cultural exposure and just trying to make them more comfortable speaking in general, more exposed to natural conversation. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just there to have a good time. So basically what I'm trying to say is I do a lot of games. I do a lot of songs and stories and whatever I find that's interesting. I don't have any sort of syllabus to work from. If I want to look in their books or talk with their teachers about what they're covering in their other English classes, I do that once in a while, but I'm not expected to follow along with everything that they're doing. It is up to me. And sometimes teachers will ask, like, oh, hey, could you practice, like, reading? Or just asking me how, like, oh, in America, how do you learn how to read? Because here, this is how we do it. And English is really different from Hungarian. So I don't know how to teach reading in English. And so I'm like, I gotcha. Let's talk about phonics, CVC, sight words. I know that stuff. Yes. We do get paid a lower percentage of our salary over the summer. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but yes, school ends in June and it starts the 1st of September. So you have the end of June, all of July, and almost all of August. The end of August, you're kind of getting ready for school to start. And so, like, this past summer, I went to Romania, then I went back to the States and surprised my whole family. They had no idea I was coming. And then I came back to Hungary, then I went to Serbia for a while, and then school started. So you're able to do a lot over the summers. I should mention, though, that this only applies for if you are already signed on for the next school year. So you sign your first contract, and then that goes through the end of June. And so if you aren't signed on to start teaching again next September, then you need to leave your apartment. And you're free to stay in Europe for a while if you want, but you won't be getting paid over the summer if you aren't going to be teaching that at the same school that next school year. So even if you change schools within Hungary, you need to find your own housing, and you will not be paid over that summer break.
Birthday, what? Birthday? February. No. February.
Well, I hope I answered all of your burning questions, but if there is anything that I didn't cover or anything you'd want me to explain in more detail, you can message the ITA account or you can message my personal Instagram account, and I will get back to you, let you know what I know, share the knowledge. So, good night. Joj se Kajski Vanok.